A hiba nem az önkészülékében van. Ne próbálja beállítani a képet. Folyamatosan ellenőrizzük az adást. Mi uraljuk mind horizontálisan, mind vertikálisan. Eláraszthatjuk önt 1000 csatornával, vagy kinagyíthatunk egyetlen képet kristálytisztává. És ez még semmi. Hozzáidomíthatjuk a látását bármihez, amit csak a képzeletünk felfoghat. Irányítani fogunk mindent, amit csak lát és hall. Hamarosan átéli a borzongó ámulatot a rejtély láttán, ami a lélek legbelső mélyétől a legvégső határig terjed. Végtelen határok.
To order, brethren, to receive the most worshipful, the Grand Master.
Self-evident, Brother Franklin, all men are created equal.
Indeed, Brother Washington, all Freemasons meet as equals, and we have an opportunity to create a nation in the very essence of Masonic morality. It would be wonderfully symbolic, don't you think?
You'll be wanting to put the all-seeing eye on our banknotes next.
You think I'm taking it a bit far?
Please don't ask me questions like that, Brother Franklin. You know I cannot tell a lie.
Oh, come on, Brother Washington. Everybody lies occasionally, surely, especially politicians.
Not me. Not even so much as an alternative fact.
But we must all be aware of fake news.
The people must be free to think what they like as well. We can have no thought police in our new society. The foundation stone of our new nation built on all those principles that we hold dear.
The plans for our new capital city already have a very Masonic feel to them, yeah.
Candidate for initiation into the order. I'm giving them a little introduction into some of our mysteries. These two gentlemen are founding an entire nation built on our principles.
We have great promises for our new nation. You know, I wonder if other presidents after me will also be Freemasons.
Many will be. And Freemasonry will become embedded in the American culture. And the eye will appear on the banknotes.
Oh, God.
These principles will be honored with a gift from your French brethren. A gift that will be a welcoming beacon to the poor and oppressed.
This is the statue we are giving you.
It's a bit small, isn't it?
Oh, this is a maquette. The real thing is bigger. Much, much bigger.
America will produce a great many great Americans from many different walks of life and many different fields, and many will be Masons. Sportsmen, actors, writers, soldiers, filmmakers, businessmen, inventors, astronauts.
What on earth is an astronaut?
No, they're not.
I don't follow.
Well, they're not on Earth, they're in space. In fact, Brother Buzz Aldrin was the second man to walk upon the surface of the moon.
That's the best thing I've heard this evening.
What, that a Mason walked on the moon?
Man on the moon. Amazing. But don't forget the musicians. Do not forget the musicians.
Authoritarian and totalitarian regimes continue to suppress Freemasonry, afraid of its strong heritage of liberty and equality.
It symbolizes the inevitability of your end.
The British Army had travelling lodges that moved with regiments. Freemasons have served their countries and communities with distinction.
Freemasons met across the Union and Confederate divide to celebrate their common rituals.
And today, Freemasonry remains an active part of military life in many countries.
Freemasonry has burned as a blazing fire through the last 3 centuries. The driving force behind the Royal Society was initiated into Freemasonry.
Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, father of Queen Victoria, and Prince Augustus, Duke of Sussex. The two princes brought their feuding Grand Lodges together and reconciled to be the United Grand Lodge of England.
Kings George IV, William IV, Edward VII, Edward VIII, and George VI were all Freemasons, as were 18 dukes and princes, including the Duke of Edinburgh.
This year, His Royal Highness Prince Edward, the Duke of Kent, celebrates his 50th year as Grand Master of the United Grand Lodge of England.
His Royal Highness was proposed into Freemasonry by the then Grand Master, the Earl of Scarborough.
He was initiated into Royal Alpha Lodge number 16, an advocate for the craft all over the world, continuing 3 centuries of distinguished royal tradition at the very heart of English Freemasonry.
To order, brethren, to receive the most worshipful, the Grand Master.
As permanent master of these 3 lodges, I now call on my deputy masters.
Most worshipful Grand Master.
Most worshipful Grand Master.
Most worshipful Grand Master.
Most worshipful Grand Master, I humbly ask you to complete the initiation of this worthy candidate for Freemasonry.
Adorn our ceremonies and forever remind us of our incomparable heritage, the birth of organized Freemasonry,
stressing the deep and sincere loyalty and affection felt by the brethren of the United Grand Lodge of England for their Grand Master.
I had the pleasure of meeting 136 Grand Masters visiting from overseas at Freemasons Hall yesterday. Today, though, we are a meeting of more than 4,000 gathered from all around the world from our own constitution and beyond. When the global Masonic family comes together to celebrate our past and renew our own pride and confidence in and enthusiasm for Freemasonry.
I hereby read the text of a letter sent today to Buckingham Palace. May it please your Majesty, we, the representatives of over 200,000 Freemasons under the United Grand Lodge of England, most respectfully express our continuing loyalty to your Majesty's throne and person in this, the 66th year of your long and distinguished reign, of His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, as our much-loved and greatly respected Grand Master. We humbly thank God for preserving our order and fervently pray His blessings on your Majesty, so that our loyal devotion to your Majesty may long continue. Given at the Royal Albert Hall this 31st day of October, Anno Domini 2017. Her Majesty has been pleased to reply in the following terms. The Queen has asked me to thank you for your kind letter of loyal greetings on behalf of the representatives of the Freemasons under the United Grand Lodge of England, which are being celebrated on the 31st of October at the Royal Albert Hall. Her Majesty appreciated your thoughtfulness in writing as you did.
We leave the Royal Albert Hall even more proud of our ancient institution.
Worldwide, Freemasonry remains as important and relevant as ever. A global society of perhaps 6 million people.
As the globe embraced Freemasonry, enlightenment came.
I may not agree with what you say, but I shall defend to the death your right to say it.
None is more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free.
Coat of arms of Donald Trump. What does it actually represent?
Well, this is rather interesting, actually. This is arcane Scottish heraldic law providing evidence of Donald Trump's deep Anglophilia, I would say, and also touches upon the royal prerogative. There we have the double-headed eagle representing his Scottish Germanic heritage.
The Masonic Chip program uses modern police-approved techniques to create a child identification kit.
And we take fingerprints. We also provide them with a swab for getting a DNA swab. And we also provide them with imprint where they can get an imprint of the child's teeth. So not only does it provide DNA as well as a swab, but it is also a source if you were using tracking dogs to provide a scent for the child.
You may be surprised to see who we found using tricks to cover up their license plates.
Apparently, they're law enforcement.
You know, in Hollywood and in the industry and the stuff we do, there's a lot of like insider secrets to keeping your career going, and a lot of insider secrets to making things tick.
It's the world's most well-known secret society. Rich with symbols and ritual, it's the source of legends, parodies.
Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do.
And conspiracy theories.
Because so much organized crime uses the Masonic secret system and the good old boy network to be able to get away with murder. And I mean murder.
Welcome to the world of Freemasonry.
True or false, the Masons are a secret society?
No, that's false.
UCLA history professor Margaret Jacob is one of the world's leading experts on Freemasonry.
True or false, Freemasonry is a religion?
No, it's false.
True or false, Masons were behind the American Revolution?
False. False, false.
Okay, but what about on the dollar bill? The eye and the pyramid?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Masonic, right?
No, everybody says Masonic. In fact, it's a commonplace in the 18th century, that particular set of symbols.
True, Freemasons laid the cornerstone of America. Well, at least some of its most iconic structures. So what is Freemasonry? Simply put, it's the world's oldest and largest fraternity. Its membership a who's who of world history. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Winston Churchill, Mozart, Davy Crockett, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Houdini, Gerald Ford, Henry Ford, John Wayne, even Colonel Sanders. If you want to be a Mason, you can petition a local lodge for membership. You'll need to demonstrate good character and belief in some sort of supreme being. Oh, and in almost all lodges, it's men only. Next, you're up for a vote, says New York State Grand Master James Sullivan.
The lodge votes to accept you, and then you have the 3 degrees that you go through.
Once you earn the 3rd degree, and yes, that's where the phrase comes from, you can join any number of Masonic offshoots. Take Brent Morris. He's a 33rd degree Mason and a historian at the House of the Temple for the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite of the Southern Jurisdiction. You know, it's that big building in Washington, D.C.
This isn't like the Masonic Vatican, but it's an important building.
It's an important building. Absolutely right. It's one branch of Freemasonry in the United States, and that's our headquarters building.
Inside, the Temple Lodge room is a stunner. And downstairs, there's this.
This is the flag that Buzz Aldrin took to the moon with him.
This flag, Supreme Council 33 Southern Jurisdiction, went to the moon. Wow.
Now, if tiny hats and small cars are your thing, then there are the party animals of Freemasonry, the Shriners. You may know them better for their 22 children's hospitals, where patients don't have to pay a cent. The Masons are philanthropic. They reportedly donate $2 million to charity every day. Freemasonry began in medieval Europe as a guild for stonemasons, but lived on as a social organization.
1717, the first Grand Lodge is created in London. And now there are many men in these lodges that are not associated with the trade organization. They're gentlemen masons.
They're not stonecutters.
They're not stonecutters. And so something has happened. A modern fraternity has been created.
It wasn't long afterward that the conspiracy theories began.
All these men with different neighborhoods, different professions, meeting in the cafe, breaking bread together, doing rituals. What could this be? So the response on the part of the authorities was, oh my God, this is a conspiracy.
And so in 1738, Pope Clement XII issued the Catholic Church's first decree against Freemasonry, and it still applies today. In the U.S., Freemasonry flourished until its secrecy made it the object of suspicion here, spawning America's first third party, the Anti-Masonic Party. It elected 8 congressmen, but lost the 1828 presidential election to Andrew Jackson, a proud Mason.
Let us pray.
Today, Freemasonry has about 1.3 million members in the U.S., down from 4 million in 1959.
Tell God, Heavenly Father, the supreme architect of the universe.
Among the members today, African Americans, formerly relegated to a separate black-only branch of Freemasonry. And then there are members like those in Colonial Lodge number 1821 of Washington, D.C. Most of them are in their 20s, and some attracted to Freemasonry by Dan Brown novels and movies like National Treasure.
And they formed a new brotherhood called the Freemasons in honor of the builders of the Great Temple.
Who here was sort of drawn by the mystery?
I mean, I'll confess part of it.
I think it's all.
Yeah.
I think
all
it's a combination of
history,
tradition, and mystery as well.
You know there's ritual, but you don't know what it is.
Exactly.
And that, how can you not be?
That's alluring.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason people joined Freemasonry and not the Rotarians.
So what about those secrets?
What would happen if I found out the secret handshake and I weren't a Mason?
Nothing.
You wouldn't have to kill me?
We might take you out and buy you a beer. The secrets of a Mason represent my integrity as a man. I took a promise that I would not tell you what the secrets of a Mason are. I didn't take a promise that I would care if you know what they are.
Also a big secret? The meetings. No non-Masons or cameras are allowed, but St. John's Lodge number 1 of New York City agreed to give us a glimpse of one. For meetings, Masons dress up in their Sunday best and, just like the original stonecutters, wear aprons. At the center of any lodge room is an altar.
And all the activities of the lodge take place about the altar.
Piers Vaughn is the lodge master. Would people talk about religion here in a meeting?
Absolutely not. There are certain subjects which are prevented from discussing within the lodge, and religion is one, politics is another.
Religion and politics. Someone said that Masons were raised right.
Yes.
And then there are the ceremonies. Each one teaches a moral lesson related to the legend of one Hiram Abiff, the architect of King Solomon's temple. They can be a little unusual, as pointed out in this recruitment video.
Even while blindfolded, try to concentrate on what you are asked, what is said to you, and what is happening around you. Everything will be explained to you in later sections of the degree.
When a candidate comes in through the door, he's blindfolded because symbolically he's in a state of darkness, because Masonry is all about moving from darkness into Masonic light.
That it's about being unenlightened and then enlightened?
That's right.
As for what happens after that, well, that's a secret. But for members, Freemasonry is about something much simpler.
I have met a group of men that I enjoy being with. These are people that I go out to dinner with, we socialize together. They're guys I like to hang with. They're my friends.